Here's what happened on this week's Monday Night Raw. We are live from Ottawa and the show opens with CM Punk. He makes his entrance and after getting into the ring, he addresses Drew McIntyre. He says it is good to be here in Ottawa and he was hoping to kick Drew's butt here too, but unfortunately Drew's actions have gotten him suspended from Monday Night Raw. CM Punk reminds everyone of all the ways that Punk have screwed Drew McIntyre yet and says that Drew deserves it because he is the one who poked the Hornets' net and now CM Punk is the consequence of Drew's actions. Music hits and it is Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins gets into the ring and Punk goes out and sits on the announcer's table. Seth says to Punk that oh now you want to sit on the sidelines, where was this courtesy at Money in the Bank? Seth calls Punk into the ring, that is if he is not scared of Seth. Punk says to Seth that he will not allow him to disrespect him. Seth says well you are the one who says that actions have consequences so my question is why does this apply to everyone except you? Seth says he does not understand why Punk would choose to stick his nose in Seth's business. Punk says it was not your business because as long as Drew McIntyre is there, it is Punk's business. Punk mentions Rollins' daughter and Rollins gets cagey. Punk says that is my point and I'm not even trying to be disrespectful. He says that Drew is running around with a bracelet on his hand that has his wife's name written on it. So he's not going to leave Drew alone. Punk says that well all that aside, I understand where you're coming from Seth and I'm sorry. I apologize to you Seth. Punk says he is blinded with rage and says I'm sorry. But he also says that since Seth it is you who got screwed, so Punk is really not that sorry. Seth says you have never apologized for anything in your life, you are sly, you are clever but you are also the dumbest smartest dude that Seth knows. Seth says that it is time for you to realize Punk that the world does not revolve around you. He says you can be a selfish bastard anywhere else, you can act recklessly anywhere else but ever since Saturday Seth is not going to let this behavior slide anymore. Seth says because of you I cannot challenge for the title anymore and now Seth is going to focus on CM Punk. But since Punk is injured, Seth says that he is not going to do anything right now. When Punk gets medically cleared though, Punk should not worry about Drew because before he can even say Drew McIntyre, Seth is coming for Punk and he is going to get his pound of flesh. Seth says to Punk that I'm going to snap your arm once more and put you back on the shelf because I am the consequence of your actions Punk. End of segment. Backstage, Dom goes to Adam Pearce and says that he is not interested in teaming up with Liv Morgan for tonight's mixed tag match against Rey Mysterio and Zelina Vega. Adam says well too bad because you decided to stick your nose into 3 women's world title matches and now you have to deal with this mixed tag match. Adam leaves and Liv Morgan shows up. Dom asks why are you doing this? Liv says I'm doing it for you so that you can show your family who the real daddy is in Mysterio family. Dom says okay but make sure that we better win. Next up, it is the guy who always loses important matches, Jey Uso and he faces Chad Gable. Gable is all taped up after Money in the Bank. The match is pretty mid and in the end, Chad has Jey in an ankle lock when the lights start to go out. Chad looks worried now. More lights go out. Jey Uso takes advantage of this and spears Chad and 1-2-3 Jey Uso wins in another unimportant match. After the match, even more lights go out. Jey looks worried. But he says yeet to the crowd and he is out of there. Now all the lights go out. Chad is lying in the center of the ring. The ring starts to fill up with smoke. Chad gets up. Ringside, it is Sister Abigail. Or whatever this character's name is. Gable starts retreating. He climbs out of the ring. He runs for his life. She is shown still standing there. She turns around and she has yet another box with her. She gives the box to Pat this time and with that, this segment is over. Backstage, Jackie asks Sheamus what is next for him. Sheamus says banger after banger after banger. Jackie asks what do you think about all the tragedies going on in the world? Sheamus says banger after banger after banger. Bronson shows up and says that I'm fat and I'm always hungry and Sheamus looks yummy. Sheamus says oi if I look so yummy, put some mayo on me and eat me. Bronson says any day but not today because he has a match with Sheamus's friend, Pete Dunne. Bronson makes his entrance and Pete Dunne is also here. The match gets underway. It is an okay match and in the end, Bronson hits Pete with a tsunami. 1-2-3 and he wins. He intends to inflict more damage upon him. But Sheamus is here. He gets into the ring and Brogue kicks Bronson. He hugs Pete Dunne but Pete pushes him away and gives him this look. Sheamus looks at him and says what the hell, banger after banger after banger. End of match. Backstage, the Judgment Day are talking amongst each other about taking care of the problem known as Braun Strowman and Seth Rollins shows up. He says he just wants to talk. Everyone leaves and only Drew and Seth remain. Seth says that he appreciates Damian because he kept his word and the Judgment Day did not get involved in the match at all. And Seth says that you kept your word and now Seth is going to keep his and he will not come for the title anymore. Seth also says that to beat Gunther though, you have to be better than you were on Saturday. Damian stops him and says that let's just throw the gentleman's agreement out of the window. When Damian has beaten Gunther at SummerSlam, Seth can come after the title and Damian and Seth can go to war. Seth agrees and leaves. Damian talks on the phone with someone and asks the other person where you at. End of segment. Next up, Sami Zayn shows up. He makes his entrance and says that Bron underestimated him this past Saturday and that is the reason that he lost. He says that he is not the underdog anymore as people like to think, he is now a champion. Sami says that he has earned respect in this ring. He says that Bron has not earned respect and that he knocked Sami down but he was not able to keep Sami down. Music hits and Bron Breakker shows up. Sami asks why are you here, are you looking for a rematch? Bron stays silent at first and then says that he came out to look Sami in the eye because Sami is the only man who can say that he has beaten Breakker. He says that he has no reason to ask for a rematch and then all of a sudden, he drops his microphone and spears Sami Zayn. He starts pummeling him. Adam shows up with his team to stop Breakker. Before Breakker leaves though, he says to Adam look over there and then he starts running towards Sami. He spears him and Sami is down. Dragunov shows up to help Sami and pick a fight with Breakker. Breakker leaves and Dragunov checks up on Sami Zayn. End of segment. Next up the Judgment Day is here with Carlito and they face the Awesome Truth and Braun Strowman. The match is pretty mid and in the end, Finn hits his finisher on R-Truth and 1-2-3 the Judgment Day wins. Backstage, CM Punk and Adam Pearce are talking. Adam says that my issue is that you are not medically cleared but yet you keep getting into Drew's business. And Drew is also suspended. Adam says that he is going to call Drew and see if he is clear-headed now. If he is going to ask him to come to Monday Night Raw next week. But Adam needs Punk to stay home and focus on getting medically cleared. He asks Punk to not show up next week because Drew will be here. Adam says he will talk to Drew and if Punk gets cleared in time, maybe a match between them could be made possible. Punk agrees and leaves. End of segment. Next up, Dom and Liv are talking and she says that do not resist Dom, you want this just as badly as her. Dom says the only thing he wants is to beat his deadbeat dad. Liv says that yeah that's what she meant. Liv says to win the match, Dom needs to loosen up. Dom falls on the sofa. And Liv is on top of him like this. First Dom resists and then he says that hey it's not that bad. She says well they can do this before every match or even if they do not have a match planned, they can still do it. Dom doesn't say anything and he continues getting plowed by Liv Morgan. Mamma mia. Then, Damian shows up. Then, the rest of the Judgment Day shows up. Liv leaves and Dom is left alone with them. Damian says that why hasn't he gotten rid of Liv Morgan yet, it's not that hard to do so. Carlito pops up and points to Dom and says, well it looks pretty hard to me. Carlito you cheeky bastard. Damian says to Dom that his actions make Damian understand Rey Mysterio more and more every week. Dom leaves and promises to take care of it. Finn asks Damian what is the surprise. Damian says that he is going to keep it to himself and Dom and the Judgment Day can find it out on their own. End of segment. Next up, the VHS tape is played. Bo Dallas is on the tape and Uncle Howdy asks him tell me more about your family. Bo Dallas says that his family are those people that no one wanted anymore. He gave those discarded people a purpose. We are shown this character and he is played by this man. We are shown this character and he is played by this man. Bo Dallas continues talking in the background and says that they are so happy that Howdy remembered them. They were forsaken and alone. They were lost but not anymore. Now the captors are set free. Uncle Howdy and Bo Dallas are shown to be one person with split personalities. Dallas asks Howdy are we sick? And Howdy replies yes we are. Dallas says alright then, sick is what we will be. Backstage, Chad approaches Pearce and says that did you see the tape? The Wyatt Sicks are clearly talking about Chad. Pearce says well figure out why they are after you and take care of it. Chad says that he is going to do so and afterwards he expects an apology from Adam Pearce. Chad says he needs a vacation after everything he's been through and he leaves. Adam opens his office's door and Bo Dallas is already sitting inside. Adam walks into his office and that is the end of this segment. Next up, we have Dragunov and he faces Breakker. Damage Control shows up on video and they say that they are a world-class talent and they should not be pushed aside. Kyrie starts laughing like a bad actor playing psychopath. She says something's about change and destruction I don't know man, and then she says tonight she is going to clip Lyra's wings and tomorrow she is going to learn how to speak English. Io Sky says that Damage Control has lost control but tonight, we take it back. She also says that tonight she's busy with all this but she will also learn English tomorrow. End of video. Bron Breakker is here. The match gets underway. It is a good match, and in the end, Breakker hits Dragunov with an office chair. He lies down on the floor and starts shivering and his leg is also bleeding. Breakker takes him into the ring and stands on his face, and right then and there, Sami Zayn shows up. He fights Breakker, but he manages to take care of both Sami Zayn and Dragunov. In the end, Breakker stands tall. End of match. Damage Control makes their entrance for their match. The final testicle shows up on video and says something tediously boring, and the video ends. Damage Control face these three strippers. The match gets underway. It is an okay match, and in the end, Sky hits moonsault on her opponent. 1 2 3 and Damage Control wins it. After the match though, a trio shows up to beat them. It is Zoe Stark, Shayna and Sonya Deville. They beat Damage Control, and in the end, they stand tall in the ring. End of match. Backstage, Kathy asks Zelina why she is so boring. Zelina replies, Puerto Rico LWO Rey Mysterio Viva Familia. Rey says it is an honor to team up with Zelina for tonight's mixed tag match. End of segment. Backstage, Jackie asks the new trio, the Lesbian Three, why they did what they did. They say that they have just put the entire locker room on notice. Tag champs show up and say something boring. The three lesbians leave, and that is the end of segment. Gunther is shown on video to remind everyone that he is still alive and he is still king of the ring, and that he is still facing Damian for world title at SummerSlam. That's it. Moving on, it is time now for the main event. Liv Morgan is here, and she has also brought her daddy with him. They make their entrance, and then, LWO is also here. The match gets underway, and during the match, Dom accidentally falls somewhere we all want to fall, in between Liv Morgan's legs. The match is okay so far. Then Liv Morgan delivers three amigos and does the dance that Eddie did and Dom does. In the end though, Dom and Rey are up there. Liv takes a chair and slides it into the ring. The ref goes to take care of the chair, and Liv Morgan climbs the apron to interfere with Rey Mysterio. Dom throws Rey off the top and hits him with a frog splash. 1 2 3 and Dom has beaten his dad for the first time in his career. Something he could not do with Rhea Ripley. After the match, he hugs Liv Morgan. Then he is like, what am I doing, and he pushes her away. Then she jumps up at Dom and he catches her and they hug again. She pulls him down to the mat and grabs his face. She is pulling him in for a kiss, and Dom is finally Breaking Bad. But suddenly the music hits and the guest that Damian promised is here. It is Rhea Ripley. Dom looks like he has seen a ghost. Liv Morgan is also petrified. She rolls out of the ring and Dom is still there as Rhea is making her way to the ring. Liv Morgan runs for her life and she goes through the crowd to avoid a confrontation with Rhea Ripley. Ripley gets into the ring with an angry look on her face. Dom is scared. Mommy is angry. Dom raises her arms for a hug, but Rhea says no. And this is the point where the show ends. What did you think of the recap? Do not forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. I will see you in the next recap. Toodles.